Yo, what's happening, guys? I'm finally back. Sorry that I've been MIA for the last week and a half or so. That's what happens when you get sick. But I was able to watch the Leaf games, and I have to say, guys, it has not been a kind 3 to 4 games for the Maple Leafs, of course. Now, we obviously saw the Maple Leafs lose to the New York Rangers on Saturday night. Okay, they lost that game 4-1. Then they played a fantastic game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, beating them 5-2. And then the Maple Leafs decide to lay a dud against the Columbus Blue Jackets, losing 6-2. And then a couple days later, getting defeated by the St. Louis Blues, Craig Berube's former team, losing 5-1. Now, going back to the Ranger game, guys, I felt the Maple Leafs and that Ranger game was super tight. It's kind of like a playoff-type hockey game. Not a lot of space. The Maple Leafs had chances to score, but unfortunately enough, when you're playing a goaltender like Igor Shesterkin, who's the best goalie in the league, you see why that guy rejected $11 million a year, because that guy there is by far the best goaltender in the league, and he probably deserves to make $12 million a year, even though it's a lot of money for a goaltender. Now, the Rangers, unfortunately, the Maple Leafs got a little bit unlucky on that first goal, went off the ref's skate. Marner was going to clear it out. Unfortunately, he had to skate back. Leafs lost their position in their own end. Fortunately, Lafreniere gets that shot off, and Stolarz couldn't make that save. He's got 4 men in front of him, so you can't really blame Anthony Stolarz for that goal. He couldn't really see it till the last second, of course. Leafs had some chances to come back in that game. Willie Nylander had a breakaway, of course, but unfortunately, the Leafs couldn't score a goal in that period. 1-0, Rangers after 1. They scored another goal right before a delayed penalty. Kreider scored that goal. He was open on the side there. Stolarz played well in this hockey game. The Leafs couldn't get any great grade A chances on Igor Shesterkin. He was basically saving everything they threw at him. Matthews had that great goal where he wrapped around it in front. But the Maple Leafs, unfortunately, couldn't solve the goalkeeper other than one time. Rangers played great that entire game, solid defensively. They're a great team, the New York Rangers. They end up getting 2 empty net goals, defeating that Leafs 4-1. And that's one game you're like, okay, whatever. You know what? Fine. They lost to the Rangers. They're a playoff team. We're in the conference final last year. It's one game after winning 3 in a row. Then, the next game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Maple Leafs put up probably one of the best performances I've ever seen them play in a very long time. They played 60 minutes of hockey that game. The first period, of course, was a little back and forth. Maple Leafs scored a great goal first 4 minutes into the game. Domi makes a great pass to Willie. Willie snipes it past Vasilevsky. And Vasilevsky, speaking of that asshole, he thinks we forgot what he did in pregame, going and snowing Morgan Rielly before the game. So you knew the Maple Leafs were a little jacked up after what that shithead did in the pregame, of course. Then Tampa Bay scored a goal off that son of a gun Nick Paul, man. I can't stand this guy. Every time he plays the Leafs, he always finds a way to score. But he was a little bit lucky on this play here because Stolarz makes the save, but it goes off Benoit, and he falls right into the net to make it a 1-1 hockey game. Goes into the intermission, and I have to tell you, man, the Leafs came out like a bat out of hell in that second period because, my God, they were all over Tampa Bay. Starting off that second period, great again. Marner got a shot off. Vasilevsky couldn't corral the save. Matthews sees the opening, gets the puck, goes right between his legs. Leafs are up 2-1. The Leafs kept on laying on pressure. Bobby McMann makes a great play to extend the puck forward, takes the hit. Willie Nylander goes in on a 2-on-1. He's able to squeak it in between Vasilevsky. And it's a 3-1 hockey game for the Maple Leafs. And they are looking incredible in the second period. The Leafs continued that second period. Matthew Knies gets in on a breakaway after 2 Tampa players trip themselves up. And Knies scores it. The Leafs were just on an absolute tear in this hockey game, guys. Then the other goal Vasilevsky gives up was a horrible goal. Pacioretty just throws it on net. And he couldn't see the puck. Leafs were dominant through the second period. They were up 5-1 going into the third. Just an incredible hockey game for them. The Leafs scored another goal later on. Tampa scored another goal later on to make it 5-2. And that game ended 5-2. Stolarz was spectacular in that game. I thought the whole entire Leafs team was spectacular. They actually, from what I recall, the Leafs were probably attacking the ozone like no tomorrow. Tampa Bay could not breathe. Honestly, the Leafs were all over him that game. It was just such a great game to see them play. And then they go to Columbus and put up one of the worst performances I've ever seen in my life, guys. I do not know how to explain that Columbus game. Being down 3-0 after 1. The first goal, JVR doing vintage JVR things, getting in front of the net, finding that opening, beating Hildeby. Ekman Larsson turning the puck over. and then Columbus scoring right after he turns the puck over. Hildeby giving up a soft goal right under his pad. It was a brutal goal to give up, of course. And then after the third goal, man, it's just the Maple Leafs were absolutely sleeping, guys. It's just absolutely brutal, man. You got Jake McCabe pinching. You got Max Domi getting caught up high. And it's absolutely horrendous by the Maple Leafs, guys, to put up a performance like that after they played the way they did against Tampa Bay a couple nights prior. You know, Columbus were all over the Maple Leafs. You know, they scored a couple more goals in the second, got another one in the third, dominating the Maple Leafs. And I scored a goal, but it didn't really matter. Columbus were absolutely dominant from start to finish, defeating the Maple Leafs 6-1 in that hockey game. It's just one of those games, guys, where we just got to flush it and say, move on to the next one. But there was a lot of concerning signs going into the next game against St. Louis, and the concerns continued to rise in that game. The Maple Leafs, you know, with Craig Berube playing his former team, you know, winning a cup with them. Joe Woll gets his first start with the Maple Leafs after coming off this injury. And you're thinking to yourselves, okay, the Leafs are going to have a solid hockey game tonight. And what do? Lay up another dud. Incredible, man. Losing 5-1 to the Blues like that. You know, the goals they gave up were absolutely horrendous goals. You know, you're letting these guys get into the zone so easily. You know, I don't know what the hell the Maple Leafs were doing in this game. You know, 2-on-1s giving up. It was just horrendous by the Leafs, guys. William Nylander giving up the puck at the blue line. You know, Matthews probably his worst defensive game as a Maple Leaf. You know, just missing assignments left and right. You know, I just did not like what I saw these last two games by the Maple Leafs. Very concerning. You know, you're letting Broberg wide open in front of the net. It was just inexcusable by the Toronto Maple Leafs, the way they have played the last two games between St. Louis and Columbus. Just unacceptable. You see Craig Berube on the bench, giving it to Matthews and Marner. It's just like, what the hell is going on here? After the Maple Leafs played incredible hockey against Tampa Bay, they come right back down to earth, and showing us fans, it's like, holy shit, is this the same shit we're going to deal with year in and year out? I know it's early, guys, but very disturbing things to see in these last two games. You know, especially this goddamn power play. I don't know what the hell we are going to do with this power play, guys. Like, you bring in Marc Savard to help the power play, and look what happens. They still got the same problems as last year. You know, sooner or later, if this power play doesn't get sorted out, maybe you got to fire Marc Savard. I don't know what this team can do. You got to make some changes. Maybe change the personnel again. Take Tavares off. Put Nyes on there. You know, try something new, because things look really bad, especially these last two games, guys. I am not liking what I'm seeing. Okay, tonight they got the Boston Bruins. It's a massive game for the Maple Leafs. The Bruins have not played well either. They got spanked by Dallas a couple nights prior, so they want to have a big game themselves. But the Maple Leafs need to have a big game themselves, guys, because if they do not, that's 3 losses in a row, and you're going to get really a lot of fans asking the question, what the hell is up with this hockey team? But, guys, you know what? I'm glad that I'm back now, finally. Thank you guys for watching, as always. Click like if you like this video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Go Maple Leafs, go. We'll see what happens tonight against the Bruins. And remember, guys, if you do not watch sports, you're more. Ciao, guys.